What's up YouTube, Zach here, and today we're going to be doing, well, as you can tell, a incredibly fun deck profile. This of course being on Yugi Moto's deck. I'm going to try and do it like as seriously as possible, but we'll see if I can keep it together, I guess. I was hoping to probably troll some people at locals with this, because it obviously uses banned cards, everything Yugi uses, and then little extras, so we'll just get right into it. I'll just do the whole deck, and remember to let me know what you think, rate, comment, subscribe, etc. below, and maybe we can do more of these character deck profiles, I guess. So, let's start off things with Slifer, Obelisk, and the Winged Dragon of Ra. You know, most powerful cards in the game, so you have to play them because only one set exists in the entire world, according to the show. So you have to. So I play each of these. I often draw them, you know, whenever I have 3 monsters on the field, which is convenient. Next we've got the Dark Magician. Probably my favorite card in the deck. Excuse me, I have a cold, so we'll keep going. Got the Dark Magician and his trusty sidekick, the Dark Magician Girl. You know, these two work together. She gains 300 attack points when he's in the graveyard, or a Dark Magician of Chaos. We'll get to that later. So she's like the sidekick to him. He's 2 tributes, but, you know, usually you'll just like Polymerization him, or you make sure he stays on the field because he wins the games, and she's kind of like the backup sidekick. If you bring her out too, then you're definitely winning. And to go along with this duo, we've got a trio, Buster Blader. Now, he's got an interesting effect. He's 2 tributes, and he gains 500 attack points for every dragon monster my opponent controls. So you go against Chaos Dragons, Buster Blader's putting in work if you tribute him. Additionally, these 2 can be fusion summoned, but I'll get to that later. That's a little complicated for right now. So next we've got Valkyrion, the Magna warrior. With him comes his 3 sidekicks, Alpha, Beta, and Gamma. These guys all collect together their power for the beefcake that is Valkyrion. He has 3,500 attack, 3,850 defense, and you can tribute him to special summon these 3, and when you have those 3 on the field, you can just go into one of your god cards. Pretty crazy, I know, this is revolutionary stuff. So, you just gotta make sure you have these 3 in your hands, like if you draw all 3 of them, and then you Valkyrion. You have to draw all 4 of these cards. It's not even that hard, trust me. So, you run these 4 guys, they're pretty cool. And then, following it up with the pretty cool guys, we've got Baphomet, and with him goes Gazelle, the king of mythical beasts. For Baphomet, you can, when he's normal summoned or flip summoned, you get a Gazelle from your deck to your hand. So, say you open like a tribute monster, and then you just summon Baphomet, and you have Polymerization in your hand, you add Gazelle, activate that Polymerization. We'll get into that tricky fusion stuff later though, I mentioned that. Finally, for the pretty legitimate monsters, we've got Jack's Knight, Queen's Knight, and King's Knight. You know, they're pretty cool dudes. If you have Queen's Knight on the field and they normal summon your King's Knight, you can just bring Jack's Knight out from your deck. That's another way to get 3 monsters on the field for your impressive god cards. They're additionally all warrior type monsters, which is pretty helpful, and they're all light targets too, which is cool. So yeah, definitely run one of each of those, because that's the way I do things as Yugi Moto. Next up we've got the obnoxious Celtic Guardian. He is not destroyed by anything in battle with 1900 or more attack. Of course he takes some battle damage if he gets attacked while he's in attack position, but he's 1400! He's impressive, he'll help you save games, especially with all the beef sticks that everybody's running right now. Next up we've got Big Shield Gardna. I should really show him like this though, because that's the way you play him. When he's attacked, he may switch to attack position. But let's face it, he's got 2,600 defense points. They're not getting around this on one attack. So they attack him, he's flipped, he changes to attack position, then you just gotta protect him. Switch him back to defense position. There's no way they're getting past your Big Shield Gardna. So, pretty cool card. He's also a warrior, along with obnoxious Celtic Guardian. So as you can tell, I run a lot of warriors and spellcaster type monsters, but I also run the 2 furballs, my best friends, Karibo and Watapon. Now, sometimes you may see him following me around because he's a little creepy like that, but you know, he's pretty cool. He's a nice guy. He, you know, doesn't show emotion too often, except like with his eyes, which is cool, I guess. But he's really cool because he negates battle damage. And you got this sick little water pond guy that'll special summon himself. Not when you draw him with Pot of Greed, unfortunately. But when you add him from your deck to your hand, I guess that matters. So these are two little level 1 guys. They're both lights and darks too, which is cool. Next up we've got the Tricky. So say you drew your water pond or something, or you drew a Dark Magician you can't use, but you have Monster Reborn for it. You just discard one of these for the Tricky, special summon it to the field. It's a cool little spellcaster type monster. And then you say, bring back your Dark Magician, or you like tribute it off for a God card if you need an extra tribute monster, stuff like that. He's also a spellcaster, which is helpful. Next, we've got the cards that, you know, I might not approve of all the time, but definitely in the anime, you know, use these cards. We got Sangin and Magician of Faith. I do run a lot of spell cards in this deck, so Magician of Faith is helpful with that. Sangin, whenever I have Sangin die, I gotta bring out his best friend Watapon, because they're both puffballs. See that? See the resemblance right there? Minus the whole eye issue. But you bring out Watapon, because as soon as you add it to your hand, it's special summoned to the field. Or you can add a plethora of other monsters, like your big Shield Gardna, your obnoxious Celtic Guardian, your Baphomet, or some of your Magna warriors. So these two, lights and darks also. So I've been talking about lots of lights and darks, and that comes to my final monster, Blackluster Soldier, Envoy at the beginning. I had to keep this deck a little competitive, so, you know, he's in here to make this deck work. So that is all of my monsters. Like I said, these monsters will take me to a locals win, I'm sure. You know, cool stuff. So, monsters. So moving on to spells, we've got the most powerful Pot of Greed and Graceful Charity. You know, Graceful Charity is pretty helpful if you draw, like, you know, some stuff that you don't need. You know, whatever. Moving on. Pot of Greed, obviously good. You draw this anytime you just activate it. And then you can bring it back with Magician of Faith and stuff like that. Moving on, we've got Change of Heart and Brain Control. Now, as my Yugi Moto alter ego would say, I know I didn't use this card too much, but it was in my starter deck, so why not? Brain Control, definitely a good card. Pay 800 light points, take control of the monster till the end phase. Change of Heart's like the same thing, except I don't have to pay. But I can only run like one of every card, because if I ran two, that would just against the rules of Yugioh. So, use the monster you take as tribute fodder, stuff like that. Next up, we've got the Premature Burial and Monster Reborn. This is how I bring all my monsters back. Gotta get my Dark Magician back, and these help the most, so gotta run them. Got Gold Sarcophagus. You know, you just gotta predict what's gonna happen 2 moves ahead. You gotta know your opponent, make a read on them, and then you just Gold Sarcophagus, whatever you need. Next, we got Polymerization. We'll get into the complicated stuff when I get to the extra deck. But this card essentially makes everything happen. You essentially just want to make sure you draw this card when you start the game, otherwise there's no point in playing. Like, alright. So we've got a Mystical Space Typhoon, another little fun card. Destroy back row because you don't really have any other way to destroy back row. Next we've got Swords of Revealing Light because it reveals your monster's face downs. And it also saves you 3 turns so you can get like your Egyptian God card on the field or something. Next we've got Card Destruction. It's a pretty good card. It also came in my starter deck, if you see. Starter deck Yugi. I don't know if that's going to focus or not because I'm on the opposite side of this camera. But you know, you just ditch some of your dead cards. Maybe you have a Valkyrion, but your Magnet warriors are dead or something. Card Destruction, that Valkyrion. Draw some new cards. Cool stuff. Next we've got Reinforcement of the Army. Now, you know, I know I didn't use this card too much, but you have so many good cards you could search out with it, so why not run it? Next we've got Soul Taker, because I don't run Dark Hole. That card's scary. So I gotta run Soul Taker. Now I might be giving my opponent 1,000 light points, but it's a soul card, and I care a lot about my soul, so I have to run it. And my final card is the Flute of Summoning Karibo, because I obviously run my favorite friend Karibo, and I want to get to him as fast as possible. Maybe I tribute him off, although I don't like to get rid of him like that, or I add him to my hand to stop battle damage. Excuse me. Moving on to the traps, we've got my all-time favorite card, Mere Force. My opponents never see it coming. so I can just activate it on him, and it also combines with Claw of Hermos, I want to say, or one of them, to make Mirror Force Dragon, which is cool. Next we've got my magic cards. We got Magic Circle, Spellbinding Circle, and Magician Circle. Oh, I said Magic Circle. I meant Magic Cylinder. These cards all have magic related to them. These two have the symbol of the Spellbinding Circle on them, so I had to run them. That's pretty much why I run them, though. They're alright. Next we've got Dust Tornado. Just more removal like Mythical Space Typhoon. Like I said, I can't run two of the same card. And finally, I have Soul Rope. I have to run Soul Rope because I run Soul Taker, so it just made sense. That's why you run those two cards. That's the entire main deck. I think it's like 43 cards. Not really important because I always draw the perfect 6 cards. Moving on to the extra deck, we've got Arcana Knight Joker. Like I said, I explained this crazy polymerization stuff. So we got polymerization. You activate your polymerization and you fuse 3 monsters. For the case of Arcana Knight Joker, you have to fuse your King's Knight, your Queen's Knight, and your Jack's Knight. I hope that's on camera. Alright, so you fuse these 3 together and you bring out your powerful 3,800 attack point Arcana Knight Joker. Get it? He's a Joker, Jack, Queen, King. It's like cards. Alright, so that's pretty cool. He can stop some stuff. I know I didn't play this card too often, but I ran these 3 definitely, so you have to run him. Next on the polymerization toll, we've got Chimera, the flying mythical beast. Sorry about that. I had to read what that card said. So I explained this before. You summon your Baphomet. You add your Gazella mythical beast to your hand. You make sure you have polymerization. You fuse these 2 guys together, and you get your Chimera. After Chimera is destroyed, you can add either one of these from the graveyard to your hand, which is pretty cool, I guess. And finally, my most powerful fusion is probably Dark Paladin. He's got 2,900 attack, but he's got the same effect as Buster Blader and some other stuff he does, like, you know, cool stuff. And he's a fusion of my 2 most powerful monsters, other than the God cards, of course. Dark Magician and the Buster Blader. So, this is probably my favorite fusion to bring out. He looks like the Dark Magician, but he has the power of the Buster Blader, so I try to make him as often as possible, and it's pretty cool. You just fuse these guys together. All you have to do is have him in your hand or on the field, which is sweet, and then you just get to bring this guy out. You just keep him in your extra deck. So, that is my entire deck profile of Yugi. I hope you enjoyed the Yugi personality I took over. I essentially made this deck just because, you know, I had the ability to. Yugi is probably my favorite character in the anime, so I figured, why not? Thought it would be cool, a little experiment. I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. I certainly did, and now I'm laying out all of my cards to show you, because I'm so happy with them. Because they went and did a good deck profile. Good job, Yugi cards. So now I'm going to stop talking to myself all weirdly like this, reveal these cool little fusion guys. I'm going to encourage you guys to rate, comment, and subscribe below if you enjoyed this. If you didn't, subscribe regardless, because that would be cool. And I will see you guys in the next video, whether it be a character deck profile, a regular deck profile, or, you know, some other informative video. See you guys. Zach is peacing out.